What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel reserved for the best. It's super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop. Peace. What's good, everybody? Sixth element of hip hop here. I'm your host, Reno Noir. This is your co-host right here, Stu Dog, over there. There he is.
Salute.
Yes, sir. What are we doing here? Let's go. We got Slade in the building. What's good? We got the sixth elementals building up. Let me get my shit together here. Okay. So we lost another one, dog. I can't believe it. Like, this shit is just getting out of hand, man. It's like the amount of MCs, the amount of legendary icons that have been dying lately is crazy. And young too, 59 years old. You know what I'm saying? That's a young man, in my opinion.
That is a young man.
You know,
that's very young, bro. That's very young.
That's what I think. That shit, that's not even, that's not even retirement age. That's nothing. He died at 59 years old on September 28th, just the other day. It is reasonable to wonder how he died and what the cause of death was, given that the life expectancy of men in the United States is 78. That number is actually lower for black men, which is 74. The rapper most famous for Gangster's Paradise, released in 1995, passed away suddenly at Los Angeles at the home of his friend and longtime manager, Jerez Posey. I guess he went into the bathroom and was in there for a while, and his manager, didn't know what was going on. He went and checked on him, I guess, and he was in the bathroom on the ground, laid out like a heart attack, not an OD or nothing like that. I don't think Coolio really got down with drugs at this point in his life. But he was born, a little bit about Coolio, man, because Coolio, he's not the most like hardcore hip hop MC,
or talked about.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I think he still deserves the respect, as an icon. I mean, he did have like one of the biggest hits of all time, but he was born. His real name was Artis Leon Ivy Jr. He's from Pittsburgh, actually. I thought he was from Compton, but he was born in Pittsburgh, 1963. For real, he moved to Compton and fell into the drug scene as a young adult, apparently, but pulled himself out of it by becoming a volunteer firefighter. He also held a job as a security at an LA International Airport before becoming a rapper full time and making a significant mark on the underground scene. He first released a single, and I had known, like, when Coolio came out. Were you? Because you a little older than me, so you probably knew who he was. Because I remember I was like, wait, I know this guy. Like, I knew of him for some reason. Maybe I was thinking of Cameo, but so he did have a first single out in 1987 called "What You Gonna Do." But signing with Tommy Boy Records in 1994 was when his career, took off. He put out "It Takes a Thief," which was his debut solo record, and the lead single, we all know, "Fantastic Voyage." I don't care who you are, you sang that song in the car when you were driving, don't lie. Peaked at number 3 on the Billboard 100 chart. It was number 3 on the Billboard 100, and it received a heavy rotation on MTV, arguably the golden age of the network at the time, and became one of the biggest rap singles of the year. Like I said, street dudes, he wasn't respected by us in that form. I'm not gonna lie, in that at that time, but we were young and dumb, and we didn't, if you weren't like a gangster, you know what I'm saying, or you were, or we couldn't tell you was hard, then we had no respect for you. But that's the folly of youth, I think. That's just how we were. But his most significant hit came with Gangster's Paradise, which was released in 1995 and featured LV, R&B singer LV, for the Dangerous Minds soundtrack. And that sat at the top of the Billboard 100 for 3 weeks and continues to be one of the most enduring tracks of all time. It was even covered by Weird Al. You know what I'm saying? When Weird Al takes your shit, that means you up there. You have arrived. You know what I'm saying? Which
Yeah, that's
Weird
true.
Al, for real, which caused controversy because Coolio claimed that Weird Al never sought permission to make the parody Amish Paradise, and the Grammy winner was confident in his legacy. Um, he told Groove Magazine, he said, "I think at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I'll be held in the top 10 hip hop performers in history." I don't know, Coolio, if that came true or will ever come true, my friend, but you definitely will be remembered. I'll tell you that. Coolio's success also makes his early death that much more surprising. But I guess the question is still is like, really, how did he die? What's the cause of death? What we know so far is that it's not been officially released, but it's believed that he died of a heart attack. According to CNN, emergency responders answered a call at 4 p.m. local time for a medical emergency. They found Coolio unresponsive, and they performed resuscitation efforts for approximately 45 minutes. Eric Scott of the LA Fire Department confirmed that the patient was determined dead before 5 p.m. And they had got there at 4, so they literally worked on him for almost an hour trying to revive him or whatever. 40 to 50% of heart attacks present with a fatal event, according to Dr. Chihuahua on Live Well. People ignore symptoms, which are usually taking place for weeks or months before actually having the heart attack with complete blockage. At that point, the heart isn't getting blood, and it can go into a life-threatening rhythm, which presents as cardiac arrest. But most of this shit, man, yeah. If you are 40 years old or older, pay attention to your shit because your heart is telling you shit all the time.
That's if you are just period, just take just take like get
Well, yeah,
period, bro.
any age,
Cause
but
I I
especially
I work with it, I work with a guy. We had a situation like that one night. He came in, he had chest pains, and we was like, "Why you come to work?" He was like, "I don't know, but it's getting worse." And as the
mm,
night went on, it got worse and worse.
time to
He
go,
was
bro.
gonna go home and go to bed, so we talked him
Move.
into going to the hospital. He goes to the hospital, and he has 98% blockage. So they had to fly him to another hospital where he had to have a double bypass at 36 years old.
Shows to go, you man. You do not play with that shit. And yeah, it can be. Don't think you safe if you in your 30s, man.
You're
Because
not.
that's an anecdote, but I've I've known of similar situations. So you're absolutely right. Coolio's talent manager Sheila Finnegan confirmed his death to CNN in a statement expressing their sadness and acknowledging his legacy. They said, "We are saddened by the loss of our dear friend and client Coolio, who passed away this afternoon." Coolio's talent manager, Sheila Finnegan, told the news outlet he touched the world with the gift of his talent and will be missed profoundly. Thank you to everyone worldwide who has listened to his music and everyone who has been reaching out regarding his passing. Please have Coolio's loved ones in your thoughts and prayers. End quote. Uh, Michelle Pfeiffer, who was in Dangerous Minds, the film that featured the Grammy Award-winning song "Gangster's Paradise," led tributes on social media at the news of Coolio's death. You know what I'm saying? She said, "Heartbroken to hear of the passing of the gifted artist Coolio, a life cut entirely too short." She wrote that on Instagram with a clip from the movie. Um, She said, as some of you may know, I was lucky enough to work with him on Dangerous Minds in 1995. He won a Grammy for his brilliant song on the soundtrack, which I think was the reason our film saw so much success. I remember him being nothing but gracious. 30 years later, I still get chills when I hear the song, sending love and light to his family. Rest in power, artist Leon Ivy Jr. Shout out to Michelle Pfeiffer, bro, for saying rest in power. That's so gangster. I rock with Michelle. She's a cool old chick. Uh,
You're the
uh,
Catwoman at that.
exactly. I mean, but in an interview with the LA Times, Stu, in 1994, Coolio said he wasn't looking to make it big in the music industry. He said I wasn't looking for a career. I was looking for a way to clean up, a way to escape the drug thing. He said it was going to kill me, and I knew I had to stop. In firefighting training, I was disciplined. Uh, what was the discipline I needed? We ran every day, wasn't drinking or smoking, doing the stuff I usually did. And his Grammy win came in '96 at the height of a fierce feud between the East and West. You know, the quote unquote uh West Coast East Coast beef, which was completely fabricated by the magazines and shit. And that would have that eventually, indirectly or directly, however, Tupac and Biggie ended up dead behind the shit. Period. And Coolio used his Grammy speech as a call for peace to unite the two coasts. He said, "I'd like to claim this Grammy on behalf of the whole hip hop nation, West Coast, East Coast, and worldwide. United we stand, divided we fall." Shout out Coolio, man. That was some deep. That was big to say during that beef. And I remember
I
that shit.
remember. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
In 2022, the song reached a milestone of 1 billion views on YouTube. A billion. It's one of those kinds of songs that transcends generations. He said in an interview shortly before his death, "I didn't use any trendy words, and I think that made it timeless." He's right.
I
It's
give
time.
him credit, man. Yeah.
You
And
got
that
it.
song came out. That song came out before YouTube, and he
Oh yeah,
still got a big views on that. It's crazy.
that's big.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. Not a lot of MCs could say that shit.
Nah, 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 nah. I don't think any could really made a song years before YouTube came out,
Right,
and then it come out, and you get a billion views. I mean, that means people is listening to it still now to this day that much.
right, right.
So
Yeah, man. Shout out Coolio, man. You will be missed. R.I.P, bro.
yeah,
That's
rest in peace, man.
yeah. That's another
Rest in
MC.
beats.
Rest
Rest
in
in
peace.
beats. Coolio,
Yeah,
rest in beats, my man.
yeah.
I wasn't no big fan. I
Nah,
did like gangster. I did like Gangster's Paradise. I thought that shit was alright. You know what I'm saying? But
it
it
was
just was that yeah, it was. It was commercial
it was a
and it
radio song. I mean, it's like
did
it
commercial
was
success.
his music. Coolio to me, like Fantastic Voyage, Gangsta's Paradise. It was the shit that I would hear on the radio. Like if I'm playing the radio, which I rarely
Oh,
did,
all the time. Yeah.
that'd be the shit I turn up. Like, oh, this is the cool radio music,
Yeah.
that. But it wouldn't be no tape deck. I would, no tape or no
I
CD or
liked
nothing.
his I liked the video for that Fantastic Voyage. I liked the video for I thought the video
Yeah,
was
yeah.
hot.
And the drop top and the low riders that was riding around and shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was dope. Yeah, that was dope. Yeah. Well, guys, it is DC Power Hour, and Dark Side is DC's newest Yellow Lantern with a dangerous twist. Guys, spoilers for Deceased War of the Undead Gods #2.
Which I have but haven't read yet. But let it be broke.
Oh. Well, spoiler alert, my friend.
Okay, I can't be spoiled. I got to I physically got to read it for myself. But you
That's
can
the way
tell
I.
me. You can
That's the
tell
way
me.
I.
Yeah, I physically got to watch it and read it for myself. But yeah, we
Yeah,
can talk about it.
yeah. Because the DC universe's hope to combat the undead version of Darkseid and the anti-life virus just took a notable step backward as Darkseid just gained a Yellow Lantern power ring and brutally murdered Sinestro. In Deceased War of the Gods Undead #2 by DC Comics, Sinestro and the Yellow Lanterns attempt to stop the unliving's attack on his home planet. However, when Darkseid arrives and kills Sinestro, he's chosen as the newest Yellow Lantern as he instills fear like few others. And we've talked about how underrated and untested and like super powerful these lanterns really are, that it just really people don't really seem to realize. And you give that power to a guy like Darkseid, man. Oh. In the deceased universe, Darkseid has evolved into a way more powerful and way more terrifying bad guy. Because he's come infected by the anti-life virus and led a zombie outbreak through the universe. And the heroes on Earth and across the galaxy have given everything they had to prevent more people from becoming compromised by the virus and turning into zombies and shit. And but some of the heroes have been cured 5 years after they thought it was a wrap. And but that hasn't stopped Darkseid from gaining this massive power upgrade as he wields the Yellow Lantern ring in this new chapter of Deceased Undead Gods, War of the Undead Gods 2. And Darkseid turning boom tubes into doom tubes as Big Barda is nearly killed after entering one of the portals in search of her lost son. And then Darkseid's latest attack is on the planet Kurigar, leading Sinestro, born on the alien world, to lead the Yellow Lanterns in stopping the undead army and bringing War World with them. The Sinestro Corps and 2 Green Lanterns tried to take down the undead, but after Darkseid and an infected Supergirl attack them, Sinestro is done. He's murdered, and then after his gruesome death, his Yellow Lantern ring goes over and chooses Darkseid as its new host, giving him the power upgrade because he has the ability to instill great fear. Like, yeah, bro. What do you think about this turn of events? This is huge, no?
I think it's dope because Marvel has Marvel zombies, and of
Right.
course DC had to have something to counteract it.
Deceased.
Um, DC style, I like Deceased and Darkseid. Like you said, he's just underrated, man. Like they don't give him the
The
props he
lanterns
deserves.
are too. The lanterns are underrated
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. Yellow Lanterns, yeah, especially Yellow
Just as a
Lantern.
power. Yeah.
Because Batman was a Yellow Lantern for a little bit, and he
It
gave out
wasn't,
some work
yeah.
as a Yellow Lantern. And
Everything.
that's Batman's
Right.
thing is fear.
Right.
Right,
Right.
Batman's thing
Right.
is instilling fear in his enemies. And so,
Hmm.
so far I read the first issue and it was good, bro. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
Um, I
Yeah.
can't
It
take
was.
anything away from it,
Yeah.
you know.
And this
But
new one, this part 2 ends with the image of the Sinestro Corps and the Green Lanterns just defeated as Darkseid embraces this Yellow Lantern upgrade that he's got, and he menacingly says, "Everything fears the end of life." As his next attack, as Yellow Lantern is about to begin. That's the scene right there.
right. And you gotta
Yeah,
remember, Darkseid
really-
can manipulate his size. He's
right.
almost invulnerable. The closer he gets to the source wall, the stronger he gets. And all
Yeah.
these things play a key factor in him being a lantern, just making him a stronger lantern
And with the
overall.
anti-life virus already infecting him, on top of his
Right,
already incredible powers, getting the yellow ring, it just hurt the
right.
surviving hero's chances at victory. As soon as there seemed to be some hope of putting the undead world to an end, and Darkseid might not be able to wield a Green Lantern ring, but a Yellow Lantern ring is very fitting for him. Uh, so yeah, I think it's gonna be tough to deal with him, especially now. I mean, it always was, but that's like that's just like putting gasoline on a fire, giving him the yellow ring. So that's gonna be hella
That's
dope.
true. That's
And
true.
then yeah, yeah. And Superman versus Darkseid threatens to change the Man of Steel forever. Superman, this DC mech. Have you seen it? Because Marvel has
Yeah,
a mech. Yeah, they've
yeah,
got
Mech
one called
Man. Now I'm
Marvel
reading
has.
the DC Mech. I'm reading the DC Mech now as well. It's really
Yeah,
good, actually. Yeah, it's
yeah.
real good. It tells a story of they start off with the old Justice League,
What is all that?
and uh Darkseid invades Earth. He sends a giant parademon that's like the size of a kaiju to Earth, and then the heroes stop it. But in the process of stopping it, they lose a couple of people. I think I forget who dies, man. I forget exactly who dies, but a couple heroes die, and then they dedicate themselves to the next attack.
Right.
Next, they retell Superman's story as his family and the Kryptonians fighting Darkseid and Apocalypse, and they built a super mech from Kryptonian tech, and they
Mm,
launched Kal-El to Earth in it, and he grows
right.
up along the way, and by the time he gets to Earth, he's grown, and he shows up in his mech. I think in issue 2, he shows up in
Yeah.
his mech and helps
Mm,
stop another giant parademon, and
mm,
so now they know that they have to build these giant robots to stop these kaiju-like parademons that
mhm.
Darkseid keeps sending to destroy Earth so that he can take
Yeah.
it over.
Well, when they get to episode not episode issue 6 of DC Mech, we see the Man of Steel will definitely stop at nothing to get revenge on Darkseid over the crimes that against humanity that he's committed. And the Elseworld style series, DC Mech presents a world where the unthinkable has happened. During the golden age of superheroes, Darkseid's forces invaded Earth and annihilated nearly every Justice Society except for Hawkwoman. And to keep the world safe and prepare for the alien conqueror's next step, Earth is protected by the Justice Squadron, an army of mechs that resemble the heroes of the main DC universe. So you've got the young team of hotshots as Kal-El, the last remaining Kryptonian who was sent off in a giant robot, like you said, designed by his parents to avenge the death of his people. And then by the sound of the synopsis for the last issue, it seems like Superman is about to have, about to come to like a real moral crossroads. And, though the team is currently in its infancy, it won't be long until the squadron is faced, or forced rather, to come face to face with, for a rematch with the, with Darkseid. Um, but Superman may be the real threat, as the solicitation mentions Batman may have to stop his buddy from going too far in seeking revenge. It says an all-out war on anti-life. The Justice Squadron and Darkseid's forces go head-to-head in the last stand for Earth's safety. The squadron has brand new mechs with nth metal frames, but will it be enough to stop the wrath of Darkseid's best generals? And will Batman be able to stop Superman before he takes his revenge on the tyrant who's destroyed Krypton? An intergalactic
Mm,
war 80 years in the making ends here. So no, that's not. I can't get that. But so yeah, but this wouldn't be the first time that Superman has confronted a villain that has made him challenge his his morals, his principles, his beliefs. Um, Even though the big boy scout that he is faces the true depravity of enemies like Lex Luthor or Mongol. Supes is not the kind of hero that would cross that line. But this incarnation of Darkseid may actually wind up bringing out Kal-El's worst side and push him past his line that he never crosses. So this is gonna be very interesting. And while the destruction of Krypton wiped out the entire civilization, the incident is more often than not portrayed as a neutral event without anyone other than Krypton's government to blame. However, the dark side shown in DC Mech is explicitly responsible for destroying Krypton, and this is one of the rare occasions that Superman has the opportunity to directly confront someone responsible for robbing him of the life that he would have on Krypton.
Yeah.
And not to mention, this version of Superman has been prepping to fight Darkseid his whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like when the moment comes for him to be taken out for good, the usually noble Superman might not be able to hold back his anger to the unthinkable, to do the unthinkable. He never kills, but he might. And fans better be ready, because Superman may actually kill Darkseid over his galactic oppression. So if so, Spade, I know you how you feel about Supes, but he's about to cross that line, man. And this is 4 days ago. That I think this dropped. So yeah,
Yeah,
DC
it
Mech.
dropped Wednesday. The DC,
Yeah,
the new one dropped Wednesday. I went and picked it up. I haven't read it yet, but I look
good
forward
stuff.
to doing so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good
Now,
stuff.
quick question. Quick questions. We're on the subject of
Shoot.
DC. Do you think that the ending of Arkham's Knight was appropriate for Batman? Being as that Batman always has a contingency plan
Right.
for just about anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, how was the ending again?
In the end, Scarecrow made him reveal his identity to the world.
Oh,
And when he did, everybody knew it was Bruce, but he still got to stop Scarecrow. Everybody knew it was Bruce Wayne. And in the end, he blew up the Batcave, Wayne Manor, everything. Let it all go. And that's how it ended. Seemingly die.
you talking about Arkham Knight, the
And
game, Arkham Knight from
yeah, the game
2015?
Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And that's what we're gonna, because this month we're getting the game. We're getting Arkham Knights this
Yes.
this uh this this
Mm-hmm.
October. So that is the one thing that a lot of people, that's the one question, like we were talking about the other day when I was gaming, and they were asking, somebody brought up the fact that Batman is very anal about protecting his identity, which is true.
Right.
Even
Right.
to go as far as to lining his mask with lead, so Superman could never see his face with his
Right.
X-ray vision
Right.
until he got to trust him.
Yeah.
Um,
So
knowing
what
you know
you're
knowing
saying that he
Batman,
you saying
yeah,
that he
knowing
gave in too
Batman,
easily, or what?
right? What was the whole point of letting him reveal his identity? Because it basically in the game, and shout out to Punisher GTO. He came. Punisher was the one who came up. He said basically saying that Scarecrow outsmarted Batman
Mm-hmm.
and left him no choice but to reveal his identity in order to achieve his goal. Which he had a point that would never happen with Batman. Batman would always be a step ahead, and Batman would have
Right.
known entering the situation
Yeah,
or had a good feeling and had a contingency plan
I
for
agree. Yeah, I agree. I remember thinking that was corny. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Batman. He ensures Gotham is safe, and then Gordon dispatches the police to reclaim the streets, and then he activates the Nightfall Protocol to protect his loved
him.
ones.
Yep.
Then the reporters come, and he goes back to Wayne Manor where Alfred's there, and then they go in, and then it explodes, and it seems like they both die. And
Right.
then later, Gordon and the mayor attend Oracle and Robin's wedding, and then two muggers attack a family in an alley, and they're confronted by a nightmarish resembling Batman. That's how it ended. That's how I remember it ending.
Yeah, that's how it ended. But we were
What were you
our
talking
whole
about?
point was our whole point was it was not how it ended. Was that one of the guys I game with was saying that they made it. seemed like
Mm.
Scarecrow outsmarted Batman. Like like whenever you
To
read a
save
Batman
Robin and
comic,
Gordon, Batman surrendered to Scarecrow.
right? And
Yeah.
he was saying that Batman would have had a plan. Batman would have had a plan to save them both and not reveal his identity in the
Yeah.
process. Like he was saying that they were saying that Scarecrow basically outsmarted the world's smartest detective,
Mm-hmm.
which none of those villains have ever been able to do. Batman's
No.
always been a step ahead of them. He's
Yeah.
always been able to outsmart them. He's always been able to thwart anything that they've thrown at him, no matter how hard it was to do it or whatever hoop he had to jump through to get it done.
Well, it's not
And I
that
agree
he
with that.
yeah, me too, but it's not that he it's not
Mm. He goes frozen there. He'll be back in a second. So shout out to the chat and anybody in the chat that I would agree with. If you ever played the game Arkham Knight, Batman at the end reveals his identity. He's bested by Scarecrow and therefore has to reveal his identity in order to save Commissioner Gordon and Robin. Batman has always been a step ahead of all his criminals. He's never let them get the best of him in that nature to where they, you know, get the better hand of him. That's never happened. And in the game, they've let this happen. And a lot of people were mad about it. And when I go back and I think about it and I even watch it, I was even like, yeah, you know what, that is kind of right. Like when you look at it and you see it for what it is, you say to yourself, you say, you know what? Yeah, he did outsmart Batman. He literally gave Batman work. And I can't see Scarecrow being like that or giving Batman the work that that he gave him in the game, you know. But shout out to Rocksteady for putting together such a great game. It was a great game to play. Wonderful story. I have no problem playing the game. It was just the ending was a little shaky. And when you get a chance, go out and pre-order Gotham Knights. And you know, we'll talk about that when it comes out. And moving right along, still waiting on Reno. There he is.
golly,
He's back.
man. My
He's back.
PC just decided to reboot for no reason. Just shut down and rebooted.
Wow.
I'm just sitting here talking to you, and then all of a sudden, just bloop, everything went blank and just rebooted. So sorry about that. Surprised that everything stayed on though. That's cool that we stayed live. Herbert Carpenter was
Mm.
good. Peace, peace.
Peace, Henry Carpenter. Peace,
Yeah. So
peace.
where was I? I was saying about Coolio. No, not Coolio. About Batman. About Arkham Knight. Wasn't it wasn't what was I saying? I was saying that he I was saying that Scarecrow didn't really outsmart him. It's just that he surprised him. Like it's not that he outsmarted him, it's just he didn't give him no time to do no planning. He just he grabbed Gordon and Robin, and Batman didn't have no time to come up with no big plan or nothing like that. So that's the only way Batman is ever beaten by any of his rogues gallery. They don't outsmart him, but sometimes they can catch the drop on him, catch him by surprise, catch him off guard, that kind of
I
thing.
don't know, man. I kind of
That's
agree
the
with
only way.
Punisher on that one, man. Because when you think about it,
Oh,
that's
I
what the
agree.
story
I
really
agree.
was.
I agree
That
100%.
Scarecrow, yeah, that he bested Batman. He
Yeah.
literally bested him. And Batman had time because when you play the game at the end, he tells him, meet me here. He gives him a choice. Reveal your identity, you know, do this, do that. And
Word.
then if you don't, they die.
Mhm.
Batman just didn't have anything. He went and I mean, and that's the way the story went. Like the
Yeah.
story was written that way that it was just like Batman just had no way to counteract it or even circumvent Scarecrow's plans or anything. Because when you play the
Yeah.
game, that's the choice they give you. I mean,
Mhm.
but once he revealed his identity, he was able to best him because now Scarecrow had no other upper hand on him.
Right.
And I don't think Batman would have let that went down had it been written by real DC writers the way it was supposed to have been.
Yeah.
But shout out, like I said, shout out to Rocksteady. Phenomenal game, phenomenal
Yeah.
story. Can't take anything away from it.
Mhm.
Um, it's gonna give us Arkham Knights, which is gonna be popular as well. But I do think that Batman would have found some way to circumvent Scarecrow and
Yeah,
save
for
Gordon.
sure. Yeah, in the comics, yeah, it's just that they wanted this specific ending where Batman blows up in the mansion,
Right.
and
Yeah, because they wanted to end the Arkham series like they were
they
that
because
was their
they
way of saying they were done
they
with it.
wanted Bruce Wayne to be exposed, and they wanted the big explosion to fake his death, because they have a plan, or they had a plan to follow the game up with a new series before,
IP.
they ended up doing what they did, but they went a different direction. But yeah, they planned to do the next story was gonna be him, presumed dead, and he's like, there's this big, creature stalking the night that sort of resembles Batman, and then people think it's like the spirit of Batman, and it was gonna be this whole thing. It was gonna be great. I thought it was gonna be awesome, but they went a different direction.
Right. I'm glad they did, man. Glad they did because they've been promising us a
I
Superman
don't know.
game.
We don't know what this new game is gonna be like.
That's
Arkham
true.
Knights could be good. Could be good. It could be trash.
I
It
don't
just
know. We talking
depends.
about Rocksteady, bro. I haven't seen Rocksteady drop
Can't
the
see
ball
it.
yet.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah, I
see it
can't
being
see it.
trash.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are complaining about it. A lot of people don't think it's gonna be all that good, but I personally think if the combat is anything like the Batman games, the Arkham series, that's all we need, man. Because that combat was just groundbreaking, man. That was the coolest thing about the game to me, was the combat mechanics. Because like it's live action, but it's very not live action. It's it's not like turn based or anything, but it's not just button mashing either. It's not just like hack and slash either. It's you gotta pinpoint, and you gotta know when to hit the buttons, and you gotta do counter moves and all that stuff. So that's one of my favorite like fighting like gameplay mechanic games
Oh,
out
the
there.
Batman series. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Yeah, you can't take that away from Batman. It was too good. Uh, it set the bar for superhero video games.
yeah, pretty
Made
much.
Spider-Man step his game up. And step up the game for the Spider-Man games.
Speaking of Spider-Man and that, um, that's Stan Lee's Superman.
Get out.
Stan Lee's Superman? Yeah, Stan Lee's Superman. That's Stan Lee's version. Um, the Tales from Earth 6, a celebration of Stan Lee, #1 by DC Comics. Um, Stan Lee's Superman, they did something with him before. They already did the like I forget what it was, but at some point Stan Lee did a version of Superman, and he's returning now in this new cover art that features his take on the Man of Steel, in a new variant for Tales of Earth 6, a celebration of Stan Lee #1 by DC Comics, which will bring back the late Legends Justice League. Lee's version of Superman shines out, I think, from the whole roster, but um, obviously he's best known for Marvel Comics and X-Men and Spider-Man and
X-Men,
Fantastic Four and all that
Spider-Man,
stuff.
yeah, Hulk,
Right.
Fantastic Four, yeah,
But
Avengers.
during the early 2000s, Stan Lee worked with DC Comics to create his version of the Justice League in his Just Imagine universe for DC. And Stan Lee worked with some of the industry's bigger, names and up and coming talents to recreate Batman. He did Wonder Woman, The Flash, the whole thing in it, and those characters will return in a new anthology from DC Comics celebrating Lee's 100th birthday, or what would have been his 100th birthday.
Wow.
Which, yeah, and that'll hit. You'll see it in the LCS maybe. December 27th is when it's supposed to hit the shelves. But you can probably look out for the pre-order, which I will definitely be checking this out. This is too cool. In the new variant cover, you've got it's like I don't know. He's like he he's definitely looks different. I mean, he's blonde. Looks like he's blonde, or maybe
Yes, he is.
brunette, or even red hair. Maybe he's got orange hair. Hard to tell. It could be a ginger or blonde, but it's definitely not Superman's signature black hair. The suit's definitely different. It's got this cool, like, I don't know, sleeveless vest thing looking going on, and
Yeah, don't look like a baseball shirt.
right,
Dope.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what. I can't wait to see. Um, in the Just Imagine universe,
Mm,
Superman created alongside John Buscema is one of the weakest Kryptonians working as a police officer.
mm,
Salden is transported to Earth during an investigation. Unable to return home, he decides to adopt the mantle of Superman to make what he views as a non-advanced world a better place. And
mm,
yeah, so Stan Lee's Superman is among a handful of his version of Justice League heroes who will star in their own variant covers as well for the upcoming 96-page anthology graphic novel, and DC Comics has already revealed Lee's version of the Flash and Batman
mm.
among those Just Imagine characters, and featured in their own covers, of course, for Earth 6, A Celebration of Stan Lee #1. And seeing Stan Lee's Superman return alongside the rest of the Just Imagine Justice League heroes is a fitting tribute, I think, to Stan Lee, and um, the comic will feature both veteran and emerging voices from the industry providing their takes on the DC heroes that he helped reimagine. For a while, it seemed like the characters would be lost in time, like that it was just like, did that happen? Kind
Yeah,
of thing. Like it was gonna, and
yeah. I
but yeah,
agree. I agree with that. I agree with
yeah.
that.
I think it's a lot of
Because
fun though. I think having them back, I think it's a lot.
definitely, man, definitely. Because it's interesting to see his take on it. Because his take on superheroes is drastically different than DC's.
Right.
Um, and just to see him,
Yep.
the costumes that he comes up with and things of that
Yeah.
nature, that's dope. I would love
Yeah.
to see it.
And I like that this is very Stan Lee. Like he said that the character, the Superman guy was the weakest of the Kryptonians,
Wow.
and that he was like a police officer, and then Salden, I think is his name. No, it's hard to figure out what it all is without seeing it, but John Buscema John Buscema is a writer or an artist. I think he's a
Some
writer. Yeah, John Buscema. He's a veteran. He's a veteran guy in comics. He was an artist. Okay, and in the 60s and 70s, and worked for Marvel. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he was huge. He did a lot of shit in the 60s and 70s. Uh
mm,
yeah, Submariner, he worked on Vision and I think Silver Surfer, Avengers, Captain Marvel, pretty much you name it. But him and yeah, I guess him and Stan Lee created this new version. Um but the Superman is one of the weakest Kryptonians working as a police officer. Salden is transported to Earth during an investigation. I'm reading the synopsis of the book. Unable to return home, he decides to adopt the mantle of Superman to make what he views as a non-advanced world.
mm,
I'd have to read it. Yeah, I have to read it because I don't fully understand what it's saying. I don't fully get it,
mm,
so I'd have to read it.
mm.
But it looks
Yeah, I'd have
interesting
to
enough.
read it too. When does it come out?
December 27th.
Wow, we got a long way to go.
Got a long
I'm
ways away,
definitely gonna
but
get it. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get it.
for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
um, let's see. Are you you don't dig horror movies? You're not a horror movie guy. You don't fuck with horror movies, do you?
No, I watch good horror. I watch
Good.
good horror. Good horror. Because I've seen some bad horror.
Oh, there's lots of bad horror. That's
Yeah. Yeah, I've had my fair share. And I
horror
don't
is
want
known
any
for
more.
being bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I had my fair share. I don't want no more.
No, I just thought when we were
No
talking about the Dahmer thing that maybe it was that you don't fuck with horror shows or movies or whatever, or if it was just the fact that it was realistic, like a real serial killer, if that was it.
Nah. You know what? My thing with horror is it's got to be good. It's got to be good. Let's go to Friday 13th. Jason Takes Manhattan. It just, I was like, huh? Um, Punching kids' heads off and they land in trash cans. It I got to get some good horror in my life. I'll watch any horror.
Yeah, that's horrible shit. Jason, the Jason Takes Manhattan and Space Jason and all of that. That's bullshit. But this was a classic.
Oh wow,
Ooh yeah.
Pinhead. Yes, that's a bona fide class. Now, did it come with the statue? Or did it come with the collectible or no?
No, this is just the comic, and this is just an action figure.
Oh,
And
okay.
but hella detail that comes with the box. The box you can see there. Oh, box.
That's
And
dope.
hell yeah, and he's got his little apron I don't know, his cloth. He's got regular pants on and shit, and then he's got these little dangly tools. See his little implements?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. Whatever the
Yeah.
hell you got, that's dope.
Yeah, these are they sell these in like Michael Myers and Jason and Freddy and all the different horror characters, Predator, Alien, all those ones. You get them in like Target, like the around the the like film characters are what they do.
Oh yeah, but not
Yeah.
in Walmart. Don't go to Walmart. You
I
ain't
see him
get
at Walmart. I see him at no Target. But I bring that up to bring up this. They're rebooting the movie Hellraiser and Pinhead there, and they're making Pinhead a female.
I was getting ready to say Pinhead looks like he's the latest victim of
Yep,
female
yep.
power.
The latest victim. But yeah, Hellraiser 2022. It's David Buckner, and he explains why the movie had to be a reboot instead of a sequel. Clive Barker's novella Hellbound Heart first became a movie back in 1987 with Clive Barker himself directing, and the film went on to become a horror classic that spawned a long series of sequels and
Yes, it did.
spin-offs,
Yeah.
and he's an icon, Pinhead, but that long series of sequels unfortunately turned out to be a very mixed bag quality-wise, and continuity-wise, in the eyes of most fans and critics. And but now Hellraiser is getting a fresh start, and thanks to director David Bruckner, and his Hulu released reboot. The biggest change being introduced in Hellraiser is obviously the presence of a new actor in the role of Pinhead. Doug
Mm.
Bradley was always Pinhead. He played Pinhead in the original film, and I think all but one of the sequels, and there was a lot of sequels. So Doug Bradley is Pinhead, but he's been replaced by Jamie Clayton.
Mm.
Rebooting. Well,
Mm.
here's what he says. Here's what Bruckner says. He says, I think it was difficult to sort of trace it as canon in any sort of strict regard. And I feel like there's such a spirit of invention in the original film that, to me, striking in some very strict way to the events had been played out across many, many sequels was honestly less in the spirit of the original, which was this bold vision of something new that wasn't afraid of where it would go. And then I've always been a fan of, how do we regard R.I.P? I like a little bit of what DC has done over the years, where every few years somebody gives you a different take on a popular character, and you go, I didn't know. I was down for an emo Batman detective until Matt Reeves showed it to us.
Mhm.
And then there's a piece of me that goes, what if this is Batman? and you play with that game for a period of time, and this will be a lot. And this will not be the last Hellraiser movie, but this is our Hellraiser movie, and this was the direction that we were inspired to take it.
Mm.
And
I mean, I want to know what inspired him to go. Like, there was nothing wrong with the franchise or the character being a male, and I don't
right,
understand why it has to be a female.
what
I think
inspired
that would be
him to make
less attractive to most people.
mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, it's more scarier with him as a guy, honestly, and did I just say more scarier? Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a lot scarier with him as a guy, I think, I just think his voice, I mean, it just I don't know, I just think he's more ominous and imposing as a 6'6" guy, but the female Cenobite, because remember they're called Cenobites, not demons or anything, they're Cenobites, and there was
Right.
always 4 of them. You had Chatterer. Norrin Rad in the building was good. Clive
Oh,
Barker
right.
said, I believe that Pinhead was supposed to be sexless, neither male or female in the books. It it was a novella. It was just one small book. There's not a lot of content to go from. So whatever he had done or whatever he called it, and then oh, I've got another Clive Barker book called Cabal that they ended up making the movie Nightbreed. So if anybody knows that movie Nightbreed,
Yeah,
cool as
yeah. I
fuck.
see. I never watched it. I never watched the movie, but I know what you're talking about.
It's cool because there's like this the land of the monsters called Midian, and it's like underground, but they like you can get to it through like a portal or some shit. I don't know. And it's like the land of where the monsters live. But the monsters are obviously they're just people, but with like really dope ass special effects makeup. There's one chick who's like a head to toe porcupine with like actual spines, like head to toe, like really dope special effects. It was one of the movies that made me want to be a special effects makeup guy when I was probably,
Mm.
probably like 12 or 13 when that movie came out. But,
Mm.
yeah, phenomenal, 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 shit. The books into the Hellraiser was there was many Hellraiser, um,
Was it?
movies, but the one book is called Hellbound Heart. And it was called Hellraiser Hellbound Heart, and it was a, novella called The
Mm.
Hellbound Heart. He could have wrote shit since then. Um, see.
I wonder
He
why
could
he
have
did.
yeah, I don't know. He could have kept it going. You're probably right. Let's see. Hellbound Heart is a novella, the first published in 1986. Dark Harvest, blah blah blah. Wonder if there's any others in. Is there a series?
Because
No.
Hellraiser, I think Hellraiser 3 was probably my favorite one. That's the one I like the most. But
Yeah. Hellbound Heart is
my,
a horror novella by Clive Barker, first published in November 1986 by Dark Harvest, and the third volume in its Night Visions anthology series. So yeah, it was just it was just a story that was like part of an anthology, and then they ended up making a movie. The story features a hedonistic criminal acquiring a mystical puzzle box, the
mm,
Lemtran configuration, which can be used to summon the Cenobites, demonic beings who do not distinguish between pain and pleasure. He escapes the
mm,
Cenobites and, and with help, resorts to murder to restore himself to full life. Later on, the puzzle box is found by another. Along
right.
with introducing Barker's Cenobites, the story was the basis for the 1987 film Hellraiser and its franchise. So that one novella is the basis for Hellraiser and the franchise of movies that continued on after it.
Wow. Yeah, because that's 3 was good. 3 was really good. One
Pinhead,
was.
yeah, three. Pinhead though the story was the basis. One Cenobite in particular, nameless in the original novella, but nicknamed Pinhead by the production crew and fans, became a very popular villain. The character appeared in later Barker prose with official names the Hell Priest and the Cold Man. Barker prose. The original novella is Tam. The original novella was re-released as a standalone title in 1991 after the success of the first movie, along with an audiobook recorded, blah, blah, blah. The story regains the glory. Doesn't say anything about them making more books after it, but they very well could have. Maybe it just doesn't say so here.
Probably
All
don't.
right, here we go. Here we go. Sequels. The novella received 2 sequels. The Scarlet Gospels, written by Clive Barker and published in 2015. So that's way after they made the movies. And
Yeah.
Hellraiser The Toll, published in 2018, written by Mark Allen Miller. Yeah, I don't have nothing to do with. I don't care nothing about shit written by other people. Um, so Clive Barker wrote the Scarlet Gospels in 2015. So, but no, other than that, that was just the only book. Yeah.
Now, did he? Now, as far as like the Hellraiser, was the books like in a series, or they were just like individual books that just all touched on the same thing?
Nah, the Hellbound Heart was just a novella. This one small book that was part of a big anthology of unrelated stories and books, like, you know, an anthology. Um, yeah, but then they made the other little novellas after that called the Scarlet, not the Scarlet Letter. You messed me up. It's not the Scarlet. That's something else. It's called
You
the
talking about
Scarlet
witchcraft?
Yeah, the Scarlet Gospels. So,
Okay.
yeah, but that came out in 2015, the Scarlet Gospels, so I wouldn't really call it part of, like, a series of books, you know, or something much later, but yeah, Gospels, yeah. But so back to the damn movie, the reboot, why they do so the series of sequels unfortunately turned out to be a mixed bag of quality, most of it not so great, but, now the obviously the biggest change being the female version of Pinhead, but you know, as beloved as the first Hellraiser is among fans and horror fans, the franchise overall is not held in high regard by those who revel in Barker's original gruesome and kinky vision. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like the original fans, like the real, like considered the real fans, like the purists, I guess. They
Right.
like the original, they don't like the shit that came later, and I'm kind of in that, you know, like, I think the first one's cool. All the sequels and all of that, it's like, okay, I don't know. It's just maybe the second one, maybe the third one, but after that, I completely lost interest.
The third, yeah, I saw the third one. That was it. I was,
Yeah,
I didn't even know it was one after the third one. I just saw the third one. I thought that was a wrap, and that was like it was pretty good. It's
and Imma
pretty
keep
good.
it a buck. The movies, honestly, I don't think are all that great. It's the Cenobites are so cool. Those characters, that monsters, the special effects, like those demons, Pinhead and stuff are just so damn cool. That's the draw, like, but without them, the movie itself, the story, it's not honestly, the first movie has a lot of plot holes. Some of it doesn't make
Just
any sense.
the first
It's
one.
yeah, yeah.
I never
The
watched.
very
See, I never watched the first one. I watched the second one
oh,
and the third one, but I never saw the first
yeah, no, you gotta watch the first one. It's the only one in my opinion, but, you know, a quick glance at Rotten Tomatoes scores for the series, will give you a diminishing it will see, the original film has a solid score of 70% on the
one.
critics. None of the sequels go above 50%.
Wow.
Um, so and then there's 3 of them that are actually sitting at 0%. So, and those scores alone kinda demonstrate how dead in the water the Hellraiser series had become by the time 2018, Hellraiser Judgment came out, direct to video dud. And but Hellraiser 2022 can now clear away all those accumulated sequels and their bad ideas and go back to Barker's source material. The hope, of course, is that by returning to the original Hellbound Heart story, the new movie can tap into some of the inspiration that made, the first movie feel, like such a bold and shocking statement of a horror film.
Right.
Not bringing back Bradley as Pinhead also gives the film a chance to reimagine the character for a new time and a new audience, though trailers have shown that Clayton's Pinhead is visually very similar to the classic design, so they're not really doing much more than just changing the gender. It's pretty much the same. Everything looks the same. So it's to me, it's very very shallow and very obvious. Just a part of the whole thing. But I don't mind it. Like I don't mind it. I never minded female leads. I never minded female protagonist, female big bad antagonist. I have no problem with it. Never minded any of it. I just don't like when it's done ingenuously, like when it's done just like, for whatever reasons. It's not just like created because that character was the dopest way to make the character as a female, whatever.
Right.
But I love female leads,
Well,
like,
yeah, we all do. But when it's not right, like Ghostbusters, who the hell told that director to make an all-female Ghostbuster? Like,
like why?
it just didn't work, man. It's
Didn't
just
need to be
let it
done.
go, man. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you.
didn't need to be done, man.
Thank
It
you.
just
And I
did not.
really like how they ended Hellraiser 3. Like they left it open like there could be a sequel
Mm,
and there might not be a sequel. But I never saw anyone after. I never saw any of them after that. Not near one. I never saw not near one after that.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
even know if I don't even know how well the story connects or how it connects between the movies because I know it's like different people. Each story, it's like a different main guy that gets the box, but I think Christy is still there in all 3 of the first 3. Christy's the main. She was the protagonist, I guess you would say. The hero of the story.
Right.
Christy was. And I know her and Pinhead made it through at least the first 2 and I guess the third one too. I don't know how far they went after that, but it remains to be seen, of course, if fans will embrace this new take on Pinhead and Hellraiser. But Bruckner and company have at least given themselves the space to get back to what made the first movie good without having to deal with all the lore and other baggage that was heaped upon the series through the mostly terrible sequels. And you know, if this movie succeeds in its efforts, it might launch a new series that doesn't go downhill quite as fast or as far as the old one did. Because you know, so much convoluted lore and mythology and crap was just piled on to those sequels, prequels or whatever. Why does my camera keep doing this? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, but so much was saturated in there that to try and make a sequel and remain in continuity and not fuck up and go people would be, it just would be way too complicated and pointless, and you know what? Why not just reboot the thing? So I definitely agree with them
Mm.
reboot rather than sequeling. I definitely agree with that.
Well, that movie has a cult following. And
Oh, yeah.
Pinhead has a cult following. You will receive death threats
Oh, yeah.
if you mess this up. You will receive people marching in front of your house with picket signs and
I don't
pitchforks.
know. I don't know if it's that serious, but they will be pissed. They'll definitely be emailing you.
They're gonna be. It's that serious.
Yeah.
Listen,
They
if George Lucas received death threats for Star Wars, Hellraiser might be worse.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, death threats for sure. They coming. Yeah. So, but I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be cool for the most part, but like I said, the female thing doesn't bother me. If the movie's good and they write it well and it's done well, the fact that Pinhead's a female is not a deal breaker for me if it's done
Okay.
right. So just the female alone is not a deal breaker. If the movie's great, the story's great, everything's written great, what type of jerk off would I be to still hate it because she's a female? That's just doesn't even make any sense. That's just like sexist.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think that. I don't think anybody will have a problem with her being a female. It's just
uh,
you just know how horror movies go, man. How
yeah,
they mess them up, man. They tell you,
often, too often.
yeah, we're going in a new direction. We're gonna reboot it. We're
Mhm.
gonna do this. We're gonna do that. And then the finished product is nowhere near as good or creative as the
The
original.
original,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it just saddens you. Like you, and then it just turns everybody off. Like everybody's like, man, like please. Last Hellraiser movie definitely got mature audience. Yes, sir, it does. Yes, sir, it does.
I think I seen first tits in the original Hellraiser. Mhm. Yeah, but okay, so DC, where we at? DC, let's get some DC shit popping. Okay, Superman, Batman, this guy right here, Batman's newest villain is yeah, me too, bro. Yeah, that was one of those movies you watch late night and shit when your parents ain't awake. You trying to sneak
Mhm.
out to watch this shit. But yeah, this is Batman's newest enemy who is built to kill Superman. This is his name is Failsafe, and he knows that one of the best ways to stop Superman is with a kryptonite shard to the stomach. And Failsafe's deadly capabilities become fully apparent in a preview for Batman number 128, which is the latest issue in Chip Zdarsky and George Jimenez pulse pounding run. I cannot I just cannot stress enough how dope Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil was, and him doing Batman is just like fucking perfect, dude. I cannot wait to read this um Zdarsky run. There's like 3 authors that if they do some shit, I'm there, and that's Jonathan Hickman, Al Ewing, and Chip Zdarsky. If they write a run of something, that I pick it up. I don't question it. That's just it's gonna be dope. The character Failsafe had previously cornered Bruce Wayne in his Batman Zurin R persona. You know the Zurin R persona, where he's all in purple and yellow and bright. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think they have Todd McFarlane did one of the DC multiverse. I think he did a multiverse one for it.
Yeah, Zurin R. What's his name? Zur.
Zurinar, yeah.
Uh,
I think they have a DC multiverse Todd McFarlane run. I think they have one for it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They do. They do. Um, and just so everybody knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's very interesting looking Batman. Uh you stayed up watching Blue Lagoon, bro? Yeah, but that's yeah, that's Zurinar. Very weird looking, but yeah, failsafe. Um Failsafe's had him cornered in Wayne Manor until Superman came rushing in to rescue him. Unfortunately, Failsafe was built by Batman and therefore knows the Man of Steel's weaknesses. Reaching into his chest cavity, Failsafe pulls out 2 kryptonite shards and rushes at Superman, who flies outside using long distance. Oh, this is Sada. Hold on. What is she talking about? All right, she come on. All right, Sada is joining us. Who else is coming? Shadow Panda, Panda. Hold on.
Penny chop, penny chop, penny chop.
Wow, Jay Paris might come in. Cooks might come on.
Yeah, we gotta get Cooks on. We haven't seen Cooks in a while.
I know, right?
We gotta get Cooks on.
All right, let me get him a little text. Sorry, guys. All right. She kept going off. Bing, bing, bing. All right. So where's I at? So yeah, unfortunately, Failsafe was built by Batman, so he knows how to kill Superman. Pulls out the kryptonite out of his chest and rushes at Superman, who flies off. And then Failsafe leads Superman back into the house by tricking him into thinking that he's about to attack Batman. Instead, Failsafe ejects another kryptonite shard from his back, impaling Superman squarely in the chest. Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter, Hawkgirl, and Black Canary appear on the scene to help. But just as Failsafe knows Superman's shortcomings, and he's a powerful robot, and so he begins defending against the Justice League's onslaught because he's got, he's a robot, so he's got like all this data and shit, so he just knows what to do. And he's got some interesting origin story too. His birth is connected with the classic 2000 Justice League story Tower of Babel, which was written by Mark Waid. The saga revolved around Ra's al Ghul stealing Batman's contingency plans to defeat the Justice League if the team was ever compromised. So we all know that Batman has a contingency plan to be able to defeat anyone in the Justice League should they, be mind controlled or go rogue or whatever. And so Ra's al Ghul had stolen that, and after the plans nearly led to the death of the Justice League, Batman left the team. And then in Batman number 125, which was the first issue of Chip Zdarsky's run, opens up with Superman confronting Bruce, admonishing him for his arrogance and asking if he ever bothered to develop a contingency plan for himself. It turns out Failsafe was that contingency, a robot with super strength and all of the intellect of Bruce Wayne and none of his mercy. Thus far, Failsafe has overpowered all members of the Bat family, and it seems intent on continuing its crusade until Batman is dead. In early interviews prior to the start of this run, Chip Zdarsky compared Failsafe to the only villain who succeeded in killing Superman. He said, "When DC approached me to write Batman, I immediately thought about things that could really challenge the character mentally, physically, and in terms of his relationships. Failsafe is Batman's doomsday. When I started mapping out the story, I got really excited about where I could take the title." And of course he did. That's why I said, man, Chip Zdarsky it's automatic, bro. If he's writing the story, I'm in there. I'm reading it. He's phenomenal. He's just got a really dope way of writing like crime. Like I don't know, like his Daredevil run almost felt like a noir detective story. You know what I'm saying? Norin, don't worry about it, bro. So I spam chat. Nah, spam it, bro. That's cool, man. That's how we communicate. Ain't no. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna smoke after. We're gonna smoke after. I'm done.
I'm about to eat though.
All right, hold on.
It's about to be a lot though.
Hold on.
I think I made too much.
I ain't got nothing rolled up.
All right.
Here. Maybe you could hit that. Nah, you ain't gonna be hit that.
No.
Sorry, y'all. My neighbor's over here and trying to get me to smoke weed with him. I don't smoke weed, man. Oh man. Yeah. But yeah. So Failsafe is kind of like Batman's doomsday. I think that's dope.
I think it's dope too. When can we get our hands on this new run by Chip Zdarsky?
It's out now. Batman 125 started it, and I think they're at 128. I think it's about 3 issues in, maybe 4. or maybe 2, but there's definitely at least 125 and 126, and I think 127 are available. So yeah, definitely go check out Batman number 125 by Chip Zdarsky. Get into it there. And thank Dwayne Johnson for Henry Cavill back as Superman in the Flash movie.
Yeah, we definitely got to thank him. We definitely got to give a shout out for that.
You know what I mean? Dwayne has he's trying to save the DC EU. We recently went over how Dwayne Johnson wants to take over the DCEU, as first told by DC insiders at Comic-Con. Now it's also reported that Dwayne Johnson is the one who got Cavill back as Superman in The Flash. There have been rumors for quite some time, not only recently, that Henry Cavill will appear as Superman in The Flash. According to Giant Freaking Robot, we have Dwayne Johnson to thank for it. The site offers that Henry Cavill is being brought back as Superman, and at the request of Dwayne Johnson, who convinced David Zaslav and Warner Brothers Discovery to bring Cavill in for the new series. It's said that, hold on, I want to let Sada in here. Sada, what up?
Hello.
What's good? We were just talking about how we need to thank Dwayne Johnson for bringing Cavill back as Superman in The Flash.
Superman's back.
Yeah, well, he's going to be Cavill is going to play Superman in the Flash movie. Yes.
Right.
And apparently Dwayne Johnson is the one that made that happen. He went to bat for it. He went to and convinced David Zaslav, Warner Brothers, Discovery, whoever, of bringing Cavill in for the new scenes, and they're just shooting him. And he said that Cavill is specifically being brought in as Superman for the ending of the movie, Black Adam.
Gotcha.
But what exactly that means remains to be seen. Let's see if I can get this photo. Nope. I can do this though. And this is proof. This is proof. Positive right here.
We need proof. That's what we need in a lot.
This is proof positive, because they would never, ever be drinking together unless it was true.
Drinking Jose Cuervo.
Yeah, the good stuff. Even having
creek water. Dwayne Johnson got creek water. They drinking creek water.
Creek water, yeah. Got the cancer over there.
Such a great
creek water.
Yeah. But he according to the rumors, the original plan for the Flash was set to have the Sasha Cale Supergirl become the new Superman of the DCEU. God, thank God that didn't happen. In the movie, an alternate universe, Zod would kill the baby Kal-El on Krypton before he escapes to Earth and becomes Superman. It's in the car. Sorry, Sasha Cale would then make her way to Earth and become Supergirl, the Superman of Earth, which would merge with the DCEU universe. But that all appears to no longer be happening, as apparently Dwayne Johnson and his $7 production team are taking over the DC Films universe. Johnson's business partner and former wife, Danny Garcia, happens to manage Henry Cavill. So we see how this is all working out and how it all fits together. And it's also said Henry Cavill will appear at the end of the Black Adam movie, which gets released next month.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, so he's going to be in Black Adam. He's going to be in The Flash. Rumors have actually offered that Henry Cavill has already filmed Superman scenes. Regarding what The Rock has planned for the DCEU, it's said to be an Avengers Endgame level movie involving Black Adam versus the Justice League and more.
Oh boy.
Black Adam hits October 21st. I can't wait.
Man, it should because listen, man, it should, because when you think about it, nobody's ever dropped the ball this bad with Superman. except for
Oof.
the modern day Warner Brothers people who are in charge now. When Christopher Reeve was alive, I mean, I give him credit. Superman 3 might have been bad. Superman 4 might have been bad. But they consistently gave us Superman movies.
We got
And
4
you
of
couldn't
them
argue
joints.
that. Right. We got 4 joints and 2 of them were good. 3 were bad. But that was their fault that they were bad because I think Superman 3 was supposed to be Supergirl. And then they messed around and too many rewrites and too many ideas
Yeah,
and
they wanted
that's
to
what
make
gave it.
Supergirl. They wanted to make
Yeah,
Supergirl the new Superman.
yeah.
Oof, that's
And then when they did do a Supergirl, it was horrible. That was horrible
yeah,
too.
that was awful.
That was bad.
Horrid.
Yeah, that was just bad. So shout out to The Rock for doing that, man, because we
Yeah,
got
bro.
we got one good Superman movie with Henry Cavill in it, and then we got crickets.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Hollywood did it like it was like, oh, it wasn't a good movie. But I don't care what you say. When people talk about Man of Steel, I've never heard anybody say anything really bad about it. People actually like it.
Man of Steel is my favorite Superman movie, hands down, no question.
Yeah, it was good, bro.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't
great.
take anything away from it.
Definitely
I
not.
think it was because of the other movies, because their reviews were so up and down that's what made them reluctant to make another Superman film with Henry
Yeah, who
Cavill in.
knows?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Avengers came out that same year, so that probably really affected why they didn't push for another Superman film, because they probably expected that to compete right alongside Avengers. It's dumb, but they probably expected that, and when it didn't happen, everything just went crazy.
Well, Marvel did it right. Marvel did Avengers right. They really put their foot in that one, and they did a good job. Like I said, they did a good job in Man of Steel, but even Superman Returns, like Superman Returns is a direct sequel to Superman 2. They could have kept that going, but they didn't, man. You know what? Like,
I didn't
it's
mind
like when
that
it comes
movie.
that movie, yeah, that was good too. And they just, I don't know, man. I don't even know why we never got something after that. It just never came to be.
Money.
It's just something with Superman. They just don't want to see it shine nowadays.
Yeah. Well, Black Adam or The Rock teases whether or not any Justice League characters are going to be in the Black Adam movie. And the DCU is about to introduce one of DC's most powerful characters, with Johnson bringing back Black Adam to the big screen. After years of his solo project being stuck in development hell, he's finally getting it out there. And I think, like, The Rock's a big celebrity, he's a big star, he's got a lot of power, and he wasn't about to be a part of some failing fledgling universe, DCEU, that has been pretty much shit up and down, mostly crap lately. And he's like, I'm signed on and shit, but I'm not about to be caught up in that mess. If I'm going to be in this shit, it's going to be done right, and I'm going to make sure of it.
Right, we gonna make it work. We're gonna do the damn thing.
We will see. Right. We will see.
That's his point. Is what I'm saying is that's his frame of mind. Now, whether that comes to be, but that's his frame of mind. That's where he's going. And hey, I'm glad someone's doing it, or at least trying. So, and it takes a star to do it. Some executive in the back, that's not going to make changes. When a star with star power comes out and says, "Look, you want my face? You want me in this movie?" You know what I'm saying? Like, I can. That's who can make actual shit happen. Sometimes it takes that. And so, but Johnson's solo project here follows Teth Adams' the grim origin story as a slave on Kandak, whose life is changed when he receives these godlike powers. And even though Black Adam will take on the DC villain Sabak and the criminal organization Intergang in the movie, he'll also get on the Justice Society of America's radar. The Golden Age Justice League, which predates the Justice League, will consist of Hawkman, Cyclone, Atom Smasher, and Dr. Fate as they go back as they go after Black Adam. And since Black Adam will be rooted in the larger DCEU, it leaves the door open for the anti-hero to cross paths with other characters in the interconnected franchise. In a new interview with Fandango, The Rock was asked directly if any Justice League members are going to show up in Black Adam, especially with Justice Society coming into play. Johnson remained very tight-lipped by neither confirming nor denying, and instead he shared the following. He says, I can tell you that we're going to have to wait and see. So nothing, but
Good
ever
answer.
since Black Adam, yeah, right. Ever since Black Adam was greenlit, I think he's been speaking very heavily about, how this film is going to forever change the hierarchy in the DC universe, specifically calling out the Justice League characters. And while there's been rumors about various characters appearing, the door is technically open for any and all of them. If any Justice League member is in Black Adam, it will more than likely be a cameo rather than like a sizable role, but it would be a shock if more than one character were in the movie unless they managed to keep that spoiler under wraps. But if Black Adam features only one Justice League member, the ideal option would be to have Cavill as Superman. And I think, obviously we see that The Rock has the power to make that happen. Whether it's his star power or the fact that his wife is like Cavill's agent or something. So that's going down. But while the DCEU has continued to grow after 2017's Justice League became a critical and commercial failure, it's unclear what the studio is hoping to do with the DC team. But I think with Black Adam entering the DCEU, he could be the perfect obstacle that encourages Warner Brothers Discovery to revive the Justice League franchise. Not only would the team have a formidable opponent now, but it could also serve as a way to get Shazam involved, allowing him and Black Adam to finally cross paths until they can duke it out in a potential Shazam Part 3. And with less than a month before this movie opens, time will tell if any Justice League, players are in the movie.
This will be interesting.
Right.
I think
And we do know that Black Adam did take on the whole Justice League
Mhm.
and almost won.
Yep.
Right.
And almost won. And it wasn't like a narrow. He literally almost beat them all. But I can tell you one thing, he gave them all a run for their money by themselves.
That's true.
Yep.
I would be
Which goes
excited
to show
see
you
that. But
right. And that
I
goes to
just
show
need
you
them to
how
slow the
powerful
hell down.
that goes to show you that goes to show you how powerful Shazam is, or aka Captain Marvel, for you real DC fans out there. And that
Period.
goes to show you how powerful he is. Because if Black Adam could do that, and I have a comic where Superman even said that Captain Marvel is more powerful than he is, but he just doesn't know it. Like he doesn't realize how powerful he is.
Yeah.
And that he can do, But
Mhm.
I mean, if they do Black Adam right and they get this next Superman movie right, yeah. You can reach a new level they never reached before.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually have a sequel for Superman. I'll throw a party.
Hell yeah. After the response to a TV spot for Black Adam, Warner Brothers might be changing its mind about Joss Whedon's Justice League being canon to the DCEU. After spending almost a decade in various stages of production, Justice League finally started filming in 2016 with Zack Snyder in the director's chair after previously directing the DCU films Man of Steel and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. However, after Snyder left the project during post-production and Whedon took over, massive rewrites and unprecedented reshoots meant that the released film was very different to what was originally planned, and turned into one of the most divisive films of the modern era. And the negative response to both the theatrical cut of Justice League and the stories from the film's production meant that Warner Brothers was constantly put under pressure to release the Snyder cut, which eventually realized on HBO Max back in March 2021 and was huge and was wildly successful and was phenomenal. And it's like, damn, well, you could have just done that in the first place. Despite receiving mixed reviews, Zack Snyder's Justice League instantly became the fans' favorite, and received much more positive reception than Whedon's original Justice League. Even so, Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder himself have always remained steadfast in their insistence that Justice League is the version of the film that is canon to the DCEU, with Snyder stating that he feels like the only way that he could have made his version of the film with autonomy was because of that. And that's very interesting. So basically, Joss Whedon's Justice League is the DCEU canon, and the Snyder cut is just a fan film. It's just for us. Like, it's just fan service. It's not canon. That's mind-blowing to find out. I had no clue.
I don't think anyone on this planet would consider that canon. People forget that the 26 version even came out. Like, I don't even know it's in the lineup of DCEU films.
That's exactly. It's like, what are they thinking? Do they have any clue what's going on out here? Put your ear to the ground, guys.
Like, come on.
But no, really, yeah, it's who knows, man. But so what was I saying? Recent developments have left the future of the DCEU franchise in disarray, but I think most of the fans have shown excitement for upcoming projects, especially Black Adam. So people are still interested. And with the release date set for October 21st, promotional material for the film is rife, including a TV spot that included a short scene showing the version of Steppenwolf from Joss Whedon's Justice League, which I hated.
Yeah, awful.
Yeah, and a flood of complaints forced the studio to replace the scene and repost the TV spot. Even Johnson himself reposted it on his social media pages with the caption "corrected." And this quick change from Warner Brothers has left a lot of people speculating that the studio might be changing its mind about Joss Whedon's Justice League being canon, potentially setting up a new future for the franchise in the process. The turbulent period with 2016's Suicide Squad, 2018's Aquaman, 2020's Wonder Woman 1984, among several to be met with a negative reception from critics and audiences both. But Joss Whedon's Justice League that has been the most divisive project to come from the DC shared universe, with I think a lot of people comparing it negatively to Marvel Studios' Avengers, and where the MCU took time to set up interconnected stories spanning years. The DCU rushed into a massive crossover event without setting up the meaningful character relationships or planning their course of action properly. Something that proved detrimental, I think, to Whedon's Justice League. I mean, you guys had the blueprint. Marvel showed you how to do it. I think they did. What did they just not have patience? Like, you gotta.
I have no idea. And the funny thing is, I feel like they could have started with Justice League. Like, they don't understand how powerful their IP is. You really could have started with Justice League because that's the team that a lot of people grew up with. They grew up with that TV show. They know the Justice League members. People didn't know the Avengers like that until that film came out. So they could have started with that if they really wanted to, but they just didn't, and their other plan was just awful. So you could have
spun all your solo movies off of Justice League. So you could have bought out Justice League first, then did the Flash movie, then the Flash, Cyborg. Could have got a second Wonder Woman movie, another Superman movie, another Batman film.
When in doubt, check the dub.
Yes, sir. But they didn't. Yeah. So we have the filth that they gave us today.
Filth, Flarn, filth.
Yes, we have the Hollywood filth they gave us today. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see how far they go. I really wanted to succeed. I'm not gonna lie, but I just don't want it to be another flop, man. I just don't want it to be another flop like Superman 3.
Cross my fingers. I agree, Norm Rad. I think that just comes down to the writing, the personality.
Yeah.
They just never improved upon it after Man of Steel. They doubled down on his personality, and I don't I don't know. It's just so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
manga,
I
that would be
mean,
cool.
yeah, that would be.
Manga would be great,
So
bro.
cool.
Manga would
And
be
Brainiac, we
great.
definitely want Brainiac
I know we
at some
still
point.
haven't seen
Yeah,
Brainiac.
Brainiac would be real. Brainiac would be super dope. I would love to see
Dramatic
Brainiac.
cameo.
Yeah.
Black
Ooh, a
Adam
TL
Sinestro
cameo.
team up would be fire right there.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect way
Brainiac
to
is
bring in
cool.
GL. Oh god.
Hmm. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, some people like Krypton. That's shy. I
yeah.
never watched it.
Oh yeah. No, me neither. Me neither. But yeah, but then you had Zack Snyder's version, on the other hand, work tirelessly at creating stronger foundations for each of the characters. Backstories and cultures were properly developed. Like you can't like that's one thing Marvel did right was built up the characters because it's all about characters. It's all about the audience caring about the characters. That's if you can't if the audience doesn't care about your characters, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Like that's the whole goal is to get the audience to care about your characters. Then you can just write whatever story you want. But doesn't matter how great the story is, if you don't care about the characters, you don't care about the outcomes or the stakes. It just makes it
It
you
just
can't be
makes no sense, right? Can't. You're
you're
right.
not going to be interested. You're not going to get into it. And the backstories and cultures were properly developed in Snyder's cut, and created ample opportunity for the stories to be revisited in future DCEU movies, like you guys said, and that is if Snyder's version is eventually considered canon instead of Whedon's, which I can't even believe this is a conversation. I can't even believe that this is a thing.
But it is.
Following, maybe it is, and maybe it is. Maybe
I
this
mean,
is
well,
just
not like a deep
speculation.
discussion, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Talk about it is just taboo. But
right.
they canceled
Well,
Batgirl Arena for no
they did.
reason at all, and we
They
never
did.
got to see it. So
Now we did see
they are
some
capable of
clips.
doing anything.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm not.
That movie, Reno, that movie's gonna surface. Listen, that movie is gonna surface somehow,
Listen,
some way.
I'm not.
It's
Don't know
coming.
how, but it's gonna do. Yeah, it's gonna surface, bro. I'm
I
telling
think
you.
it's gonna suck. I think it's gonna suck. I think
At a
Batgirl is gonna
streaming
suck.
at a streaming site near you, be on the lookout
Oh yeah.
for the Batgirl movie.
Give it a
Yeah,
couple years.
it's
And
gonna
that joint's
suck.
gonna come
Yeah,
up.
yeah. If they leak
Oh,
that
that.
Fantastic Four movie,
That
they
movie's
leaked
gonna suck.
the Captain America one, bro. We gonna get Batgirl.
One of
That's
these
all I can tell you.
directors, one of these guys said something about Ryan Gosling playing Doom, Doctor Doom. Like what are you? It makes me wonder, man. Like who is making these decisions? Like who don't you got Ryan Gosling as Doctor Doom?
Too short. Too short
What
to
are
be
you
Doctor
talking
Doom.
about?
Too
Yeah,
short.
he's pretty short.
He's short. He's blonde. Like nothing about him is this says Doctor Doom. I've never looked at Ryan Gosling and thought Doctor Doom or anything close to that. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Ryan Gosling is a dope actor, and I like the movies that he does. I like his characters, but it doesn't mean that he's good for every role. Like he's not going to be. He wouldn't be a good Doctor Doom. I don't know what. It's just. I think.
Nice.
I think we're lucky that The Rock is in the position that he's in. Like I'm happy when I find out that big fans of these properties are working on the projects. Like when I
Yeah.
find out that someone working on this movie is like a fan ever since they were a little kid, I know it's gonna be dope. Because they care about it. They really care about it.
That's true. That's so true.
And speaking of that, Star Wars made Starkiller's Force Unleashed armor canon in dude, Andor. So Andor episode 4, I just wanted to say, has this great scene where he goes into like his little antiques dealer shop, or one of the spy dudes, he's pretending to be an antiques dealer, and it's just like an Easter egg field, all kinds of cool shit, and a new a new Easter egg continues a growing trend that builds hope for the canonical return of the beloved Force Unleashed games and its and Starkiller.
But they were dope. Those games were
Dude,
dope.
and people want to see it in live action. People want to see these characters, or at least know that
That,
Starkiller is
that
canon.
would, but that would
Bro,
be,
can you
that would
imagine
be
a
so
fucking
cool.
yeah,
They
bro?
did
Can
a
you imagine
Starkiller. They
a
did
Starkiller movie?
Yeah, that'd be dope, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That'd be dope.
And while there have been recent references to the games in past series like The Mandalorian and Obi-Wan, this new reference is very significant as a callback to the Starkiller's darkest future. Remember, while the events of the games were rendered non-canon after Disney purchased the Star Wars IP, and Karen Kennedy said that all the books and games were not canon, we're going to start
Yeah.
over.
I don't even know
Um,
why she did that, bro. She
Purge,
messed up a lot of people's lives with that when she said that.
they purged the whole continuity of the expanded universe, and the expanded universe was my favorite part of Star Wars. So that just fucked me and a whole lot of people up. And this new tease could be hinting that select parts of the games might come back into the canonical galaxy. And because we've been seeing Old Republic stuff coming into canon, and stuff from the books are slowly creeping their way into canon because guys like Filoni and Favreau and them and people that are Tony Gilroy, they're like sneaking shit in from Legends. And like, oh, Kathleen Kennedy said this stuff isn't canon. Fine, that's cool. We'll just bring this in. She doesn't know what this is. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? She doesn't know. Or whoever is in charge or whoever doesn't want this stuff to be canon, they don't know if you just made that thing up because they're not reading those books. They don't know shit about Star Wars.
Right.
And existing as the secret apprentice to Darth Maul in the following years of Revenge of the Sith, Starkiller was trained by Darth Vader to be a powerful weapon to help Darth Vader overthrow Emperor Palpatine. Because Vader can't overthrow Palpatine by himself because of the suit that he's in. And Palpatine made that suit, and Palpatine's mastery of Force lightning, and him in a suit that's got electricity and shit. All he has to do is zap him with Force lightning, and Vader's done. So Vader creates Starkiller, trains him rather, and but Starkiller eventually played a critical role in the formation of the rebellion, giving his life fighting Vader to ensure that the rebellion survived. So I think it connects very well with Andor, because Andor and Rogue One is about the birth of the rebellion. It's about the birth of the resistance. And so, and the games did have an alternate dark side ending where Starkiller's Vader Starkiller kills Vader and becomes Palpatine's new apprentice, which is where Andor's reference comes in. The alternate ending saw Starkiller wearing a costume and a helmet known as the Starkiller Armor. And this armor was incredibly cool looking, really horrific, just looked badass. Like it was the skin I always played the game in. And this armor, is painfully grafted to the wearer's flesh and bones when they wear it. And remarkably, the very same Starkiller helmet can be seen in Andor in the gallery. So when go back and watch that scene again when he's walking through, the scene I mean with the antique shop.
Yeah.
The spy he puts on a disguise as like this flamboyant like antiques dealer, and they have a meeting there. Well, in that antique shop, there's it kind of looks like an armor, a suit of armor, like how you would see like a samurai suit of armor, but it's Starkiller. It's Starkiller. It's the Starkiller armor. I was fucking hyped, bro. I was like, yo, that is super dope, because that means that we're starting to get more canon, more expanded universe stuff into canon.
And less Kathleen Kennedy.
And less Kathleen Kennedy. And that's the big, all right, let me get you guys this.
That's the big deal.
That's the big deal. All right, here we go. Oh, yeah, a minute, fucker. You guys a photo. And Stu, I know you got to take off here in a second. So remember this scene. There he is. See that?
Yeah, that's the helmet. Yeah, that's the
Yep.
whole armor. Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
That is badass, man. That means that it means a lot, guys. So I know you guys, Sada, you don't know, like if you don't know about Star, but this is a big development because this means that it doesn't mean anything for sure. Maybe it's just a nod, an Easter egg, but
It's just a good, right? It's just a good head nod for the fans.
right.
Yeah,
But it's dope.
something for
Yeah,
them to
it's
look
very,
for. Yeah.
it's very cool. But yeah, Stu, I know you gotta go, man. It's 8.
Yeah, I gotta roll out, man.
I think you was you had planned to leave at 7:30, so we really went over.
We went a little way. But I'll
Yeah.
catch you guys Monday.
Before we go though, Stu, I just want to say, The Crow, long promised, long delayed reboot has wrapped production. So there's that. Yeah, big deal.
There was
film
nothing
me-
wrong with the very first one.
Not at all.
City of
I
Angels.
fact that
City of
died
Angels. You
during
can reboot City of Angels. Yeah, you can reboot that.
Yeah.
You can definitely reboot
Yeah.
City of Angels. But The Crow, the movie, yeah, I don't get it, Reno and Sada. With they want to reboot the Warriors, and there's a trailer. There's a
Well, that's
trailer for the
different.
new one, and that's just dumb. It's just dumb
Yeah,
as
that's
hell.
dumb. Don't
Like-
remake the Warriors. That's dumb.
Yeah, you can't.
The Crow is
Yeah.
The Crow is a character that this is just a cult fan. This is not going to be a big blockbuster. This isn't going to blow up. This is not a big cash grab. It's just like a cult following for people that are big fans of the Crow. Like happy to see this shit. It's probably not going to be a big deal.
They're gonna
but
make it a big deal since they're rebooting it. I can't imagine them not making it a big deal.
Yeah,
it just
they are.
depends.
But
Depends
the Crow, the movie,
Depends who's making it and stuff because they filmed this in Prague last July, and then I guess one of the film's major set pieces is reportedly set in the city's Rudolphinium concert hall, which involved hundreds of extras showing up in formal attire. In addition to Prague, there was filming at Penzing Studios outside of Munich. So I don't know like who's making this movie or who's involved, but it's not like a Marvel movie or anything. I don't know who's going to be in it. Let's see. Every few years, a new director, leading man would be attached to the film in some capacity. Such actors have included Jason Momoa, Bradley Cooper, James McAvoy, and Luke Evans. And in the time it's taken for the film to be made, original Crow director Alex Parias has argued that his movie shouldn't be remade since doing so would erase Lee's final performance.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
I agree. And because his was superior in every way to anything you can reboot it with.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Awesome.
I mean, you can't redo that. man,
This is true.
You can't top that. Sorry.
you can't top that.
You can't beat perfection.
Now you're right though about them rebooting City of Angels. What they should not do is they should just do like a reboot of a sequel to The Crow or something like that.
Right.
You know,
that because City of Angels was bad.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, it was horrible. Bro.
Yeah.
So just
Bruce Willis becomes the first celebrity to sell his rights to a deep fake firm. The deep fake firm. He sold the rights of his face, I guess, to deep fake. Poor Bruce Willis. We got to get into Bruce Willis Monday, man. That guy, I feel so bad. He's going through a lot of shit. He's fucked up in the game. We'll talk about him Monday. We'll be back, guys, every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Y'all already know at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, Reno. This is the Sixth Element of Hip Hop. Guys, please leave a comment down below. Give us that like, hit that sub, do all that good stuff. Tell your friends about us. And come back Monday at 6:30 and check us out. Peace.
Peace.